In this week's news, debate over the religious identity of Australia's 12,000 Syrian refugees. Church groups lend a hand after devastating WA bushfires. And Pope Francis releases his debut rock record.
This is InFocus Christian News and Current Affairs.
In the wake of terrorist attacks around the world, public opinion is hardening against Middle Eastern refugees, with questions being asked about their religious identity. The Australian government's pledge to accept 12,000 extra refugees from Syria has triggered a debate on whether the priority should be given to religious minorities, Christians, Yazidis, Jews and others. According to the Australian newspaper, church leaders are worried that vulnerable Christians will miss out on resettlement. They're avoiding registering as refugees in UNHCR camps because they're afraid of persecution from other asylum seekers. Australian government ministers have previously said they'll prioritise vulnerable minorities, but church leaders are worried that the government's commitment may be wavering. Catholic and Anglican churchmen in the UK are beginning to speak out reluctantly in favour of military action against Islamic State. According to Premier Christian media, the head of the Catholic Church in England and Wales has said that airstrikes against IS are morally justifiable.
While there is a duty on us to pray, and while there is a duty on us to stand together, there is also a duty that those who barbarically threaten other individuals have to be stopped.
Even the legendary Vicar of Baghdad, Canon Andrew White, who until recently was ministering in Iraq and negotiating peace between various parties, has said that IS is evil and that the UK should send ground troops to stop them. Both church leaders urged the UK government to open the door to more refugees fleeing the conflict. Melbourne Anglican Bishop Philip Huggins says that one way to minimise the chances of a terrorist attack in Australia is to reduce the number of guns in the community. The call comes as London police are accepting guns from citizens under a 2-week, no questions asked amnesty. According to Anglican News Service, Bishop Huggins says Australia's 1998 gun amnesty was immensely successful, but that the number of guns in the community has been steadily rising since then. Communities in Western Australia's Esperance region are in shock and mourning after a devastating bushfire destroyed homes and rural properties, leaving 4 people dead. More than 300 people were evacuated from the affected areas. Church volunteers worked together with emergency services to respond to the disaster, with the Adventist Development and Relief Agency coordinating emergency accommodation for the evacuees.
With the ADRA team at Esperance, they worked really tirelessly. I'm really proud of them. They did a great job. Some of them actually lost part of their farms and they still managed to come in and help others in the community. They were great on the ground. They were great with the other agencies. You know, they just did a fantastic job.
According to experts, this year's hot and dry El Niño climate pattern could leave more than 4 million people in Pacific nations without food or drinking water. Papua New Guinea has been particularly hard hit, with 24 people already dying from hunger as crops fail, or from drinking poor quality water taken from muddy, dwindling sources. According to The Guardian, other nations affected are the Solomon Islands, Fiji, Tonga and Vanuatu, which already suffered significant crop damage earlier this year in the most severe cyclone ever to hit the island nation.
They're delivering water in Vanuatu, the Vanuatu government, to various provinces where they're really struggling because they had all their crops wiped out by Cyclone Pam, so they don't have much to eat. ADRA Australia and New Zealand have a Christmas appeal, and both of them are going to focus on the El Niño situation, the drought situation.
A priest is in jail and 4 other people are facing criminal charges in a Vatican courtroom over their part in publicising sensitive documents. According to The Guardian, 3 of those charged work with the Vatican's commission focused on making economic reforms. They allegedly passed the documents to the two other accused, journalists, who wrote books detailing financial abuses within the Vatican. The journalists have been unrepentant about the charges, questioning the Vatican's lack of protection for journalist sources. It remains to be seen whether Italy will extradite the men to the Vatican if a custodial sentence is imposed. Vatican records of quite another type are also poised to go public, but this time it's Pope Francis's speeches set to a progressive rock soundtrack.
It is the duty to be vigilant, not to allow the pressures, the temptations, and the sins of ourselves or others to dull our sensibility to the beauty of holiness.
The full album, which is being released this weekend, includes excerpts from speeches in 4 languages, set to music which incorporates elements of pop, rock and traditional styles, including Gregorian chant. The pre-released single, Wake Up, has clocked up hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube. Seventhday Adventists have made healthcare a priority for more than 150 years, but the completion of a 25-storey hospital building in the Chinese territory of Hong Kong is being called a miracle. The 470-bed facility will be able to cater for 1,000 outpatients per day and is an expansion of a smaller Adventist hospital that has served Hong Kong residents since 1964. According to the Adventist Review, church leaders in Hong Kong are keen for the hospital to reflect the denomination's commitment to holistic health. Lifestyle change is high on the agenda. Inpatients will be served well-balanced vegetarian meals and will each receive a visit from a chaplain. And 20% of beds will be set aside for low-income patients referred from public hospitals. 68-year-old Ramon Veron is passionate about the Christian education his grandchildren are receiving and would like other children to have the same opportunity, but he says he doesn't have a lot of money. What he does have, though, is an 18-year-old bicycle. According to Adventist Review, Mr. Veron and his daughter are currently pedaling the length of Argentina, some 6,000 kilometres from the Bolivian border to the southern tip of South America. Their aim is to raise $400,000 so that a new primary school can be built in Escobar, a satellite city of Buenos Aires. An Adventist congregation in Escobar is fully behind the project. They've kicked off the fundraising and they say the land is waiting for building to begin. And that's the news for this week. Don't forget to check out our other videos, including analysis of current events, health and lifestyle tips, and inspirational interviews. The best place to start is at our website, record.net.au. Thanks for your company. I'll see you next time on InFocus Christian News. God bless.